Yes, good morning everyone.
Good morning, sir.
4th May 2022. Yes, quickly we'll go through all the important articles. Look at the first page. April exports cross $38 billion. Deficit widens. So, although the exports have increased, but the imports have increased at the faster rate in the previous month. Okay, if we go back to March month data, so it was somehow favorable regarding the deficit, trade deficit, but now it has widened. Okay, we are having this follow-up from GS3 paper economy part. Okay, then come to page number 6, editorial page. Two important articles. Lead article, bill assent, a delay and governor's option. So in last few months we are having follow up on this issue, NEET bill and Tamil Nadu governor controversy that is going on. And in recent past there was the NEET bill was sent back for the reconsideration of the state assembly. Immediately Tamil Nadu state assembly reconvened and passed the bill. Now it is still pending with the governor. Okay, the article is explaining in its first part the role of governor in the legislative processes of the state, and then it is explaining why it is not constitutional to not give any kind or not take any kind of action on the bill passed by the state government or state legislature. Okay, so this is very important from GS2 paper polity part. See, in many parts of the country, in different states, governor and the elected government in the state, they have been at the loggerhead due to various issues. अगर आप केरला का issue देखते हैं, so in Kerala recently it was in news because of appointment of vice chancellors. So that was in news. If we talk about Maharashtra, we have seen the controversy regarding the election of speaker of state assembly. So that date was not being announced by the governor. उसके बाद state assembly ने उसका provision ही change कर दिया. ठीक है. So such kind of instances are happening. Even though there will not be direct question, there will be indirect question. You have to give references to these instances. Whenever we talk about conflict between the governor who is appointed by the president, indirectly we can say central government, and the elected government of state. So it is part of, we can say, federal aspect or federalism. On left hand side, the court's burden. Okay, so the context is recent, we can say, conference of chief justices and chief ministers, and there the CJI has expressed certain views. Along with that, the National Judicial Infrastructure Corporation, NJIC, this proposal of the CJI did not find, let's say, support by many chief ministers. With this context, the article is written. So we have to understand the importance of this body. Along with that, the new proposal have been given by chief ministers so as to have state level such infrastructure bodies rather than having central body. Why state opposed to central body? Because they are already worried about centralization of power. Okay, so they let's say were concerned about lesser representation will be given to states in that body. ठीक है, तो उसके लिए वो अपोज कर रहे थे. So GS2 paper polity part, from judiciary aspect, especially infrastructure, we have to understand and take input here. Fine. Now moving on, some good data on page number 8. Next page. Okay. Yes, on page number 7, that one article is there, no, joblessness on the rise in India. From such articles, you can take some data inputs. Some facts are mentioned. We have to understand that in terms of unemployment, the government data is not available for so many years now. Okay, and some data that is given by the government or some scholars, there are some inadequacies in that data. तो यहाँ पे काफ़ी सारा इंफॉर्मेशन उन्होंने डेटा में दिया हुआ है. ओके, सो सिंपली यू कैन राइट डाउन दैट इन योर डेटा बुक. ठीक है, दैट इज सफिशिएंट फ्रॉम दिस आर्टिकल. Now on page number 8, a similar kind of charts and facts are mentioned there in a hot mess. So in last some days we are witnessing heat wave in central India and northwest India. With that context, this data is explained here. So you can see that the red hot region, the map shows modeled air temperatures on 27th April derived from Goddard Earth Observing System model. And you can see that many cities across east, central and northwest India recorded more than 44 degrees Celsius on that day. Okay, so such kind of data can be taken here, and along with that on bottom side you can see on fire, right? So the fire alerts have been given in last 1 year, they have increased, the data is shown. Then power demand peaks. Okay, generally power demand peaks in May month of summer, but now it has peaked in the April itself. मतलब वो और ज़्यादा बढ़ेगा पावर डिमांड जो है. ये सारी फैक्ट्स वहाँ पे लिखी हुए हैं. On the bottom side, another important fact is wheat yield. It is found that this year the wheat yield from Punjab has declined due to higher temperatures. और वहाँ पे डेटा लिखा हुआ है 19.8 क्विंटल्स पर एकड़, तो वो लास्ट ईयर था, इस साल वो 17.9 हुआ है. Okay, so this is how global warming or climate change is impacting food security. We should understand this. So जब extreme temperature होता है तो ये issue है. If we talk about variability in rainfall, so there will be excess rainfall in short period of time or drought or dry spell for longer time period. Because of that, crop failure happens. That also affects the food security. Right. Okay, so in this manner we should understand that. Geography GS1 paper. Okay, moving on page number 10, Supreme Court not to decide on deferred political entry of officials. GS4 paper ethics part. We can expect page number 10. Okay, so there was one plea in the Supreme Court talking about giving directions to the central government or legislature to legislate upon providing the cooling off period for all civil servants to enter into politics. Now this is major issue. Yes, sir. We learn in polity, we learn in ethics, public administration, optional subject. Yes, so the article or the judgment or the order explains or mentions about important civil services values. Okay, like for example, courtesy, accountability and transparency, integrity, impartiality, neutrality, transparency and honesty. Okay, so such values are non-negotiable. This is how the judge in the order, or we can say observation. At the same time, there can be no doubt that civil servants should maintain highest ethical standards of integrity, honesty, political neutrality, fairness and impartial duty in discharge of their duties. So this is how we should understand that court has said that it is not, we are not appropriate authority to direct the parliament. This is what judicial restraint is, we call it. Okay, along with that, the central government is the right appropriate authority, or the parliament is right appropriate authority. Along with that, whatever the actions that needs to be taken, if suppose any civil servant joins any political party, and if suppose there is conflict of interest, then under Code of Conduct rules 1968, 1964 are there. Accordingly, the action needs to be taken by the central government. ठीक है, तो प्रोविजंस है, बट स्पेसिफिक कूलिंग ऑफ पीरियड मतलब 2 साल का होना चाहिए, 3 साल का होना चाहिए, वो मेंशन नहीं है. ओके, इवन सेकंड ARC प्रोवाइड्स फॉर दिस, recommends that there should be cooling off period. Are you getting this? We will discuss this topic from ethics paper. Okay, now moving on page number 11, India Denmark to strengthen green strategic partnership. Okay, so Denmark is having a very good, developed technologies related to renewable energy. So there is more and more cooperation happening between India and Denmark regarding this. Also, some cooperation in wastewater treatment is also going to happen. So, हम देखते हैं कि कौन से एरिया में एग्रीमेंट साइन हुए हैं IR सेक्शन से. Yes. Now, moving on page number 12. India slips to 150 in Press Freedom Index. We are talking about World Press Freedom Index given by RSF, Reporters Sans Frontiers. Okay, so this Paris-based non-profit, non-governmental organization gives every year this World Press Freedom Index, and India has slipped 8, we can say, positions in that freedom index now. Last year it was 142, now it's 150. Okay, so it can be asked in prelims examination also. You should give reference to this index, India's ranking, whenever we write mains related articles, freedom of speech and expression, freedom of press in India. So when we write some negative arguments supported by such, let's say, facts, indices. Okay. On page number 13, India extends more aid to Sri Lanka. In the recent decision, let's say India will offer fuel worth $200 million based on short-term loan facility from India's Exim Bank. Okay, so since January, almost now $4 billion help, $3 billion help has been extended by India. So वो कौन से है? Again, it will revise that. Okay, it is mentioned in the article. Okay. Fine. So let us discuss these articles now. First one, bill assent, a delay and the governor's option. See, some prelims related inputs also should be taken from this article. The position of the governor, powers and functions of the governor, everything. Now, about the constitutional position of the governor, we know that governor is having, the two roles or responsibilities, one as the executive head of the state. Yes, and we can say representative or agent of the center. But it is informal. Okay, it is not explicit. Rather, what is explicit is the constitutional head of the state, executive head, or we can say de jure head of the state, nominal head जिसको बोलते हैं. Okay, now as a head of the state, he is having certain executive, legislature and judicial powers, we can say, and accordingly such kind of, let's say, why this position was created. We all know that even let's say Government of India Act 1935, it provided for such position. Constituent Assembly members, they discussed about this position and there were differing views. Some of the members were of the view that this position should be elected position, directly elected, as in we can say the governors, or simply we can say mayors of the different cities, or the governors of state in US. Okay, so but the majority view was that this position should be nominal. Why? Because India is union of state and there is federalism with some kind of central bias. हम बोलते हैं ना कि वहाँ पे quasi federalism है, and because of that there should be some kind of, let's say, control by the central government on the states, and that control is exercised through this position. Okay, so that's why we can say this is the constitutional position, and accordingly he is given different, let's say, powers. But from, let's say, since independence, this position has been, misused by the central government, especially when the political parties in the state are opposition parties or different parties as compared to central government. Okay, so this misuse, let's say, simply we should understand that governor can act only on the aid of advice of Council of Ministers. From time to time, even Supreme Court has expressed this view. Okay, so Supreme Court in Shamsher Singh versus State of Punjab 1974 had clearly said that the governor is supposed to act on the aid and advice of Council of Ministers. We should also understand that there are some discretionary powers given to the governor, but those discretionary powers are very less and they needs to be used in an exceptional manner, exceptional situation, not in the routine business, routine functioning of the state polity.
Article 163.
Yes. So now even Dr. Ambedkar in Constituent Assembly had expressed his view that there is no discretionary power as such given to governor. The clear statement by the Dr. Ambedkar in the Constituent Assembly, and even Sarkaria Commission on Center-State Relation has said that the governor should act according to aid and advice of Council of Ministers headed by Chief Minister. Now, these views are given, yet still the governor is, playing the role of agent of center rather than head of the state. Okay, largely the second role is being played, and this is in news because, in the Tamil Nadu state at present because of this issue. Let us go back to understanding this issue first. This NEET bill is having certain provisions which are having, or they deviate from the central government's directives, okay, or central government position on NEET examination. Because the Tamil Nadu government is of view that the local students or those domiciled students, they do not get appropriate opportunities. At the same time, the students from other states, they will get the admissions into the state colleges. Along with that, the domiciled students will have to go to other states if they get the admission in the other colleges, तो उनके financial expenditure बढ़ेगा. ये सारे views करके उन्होंने थोड़े से उसमें changes लाए हैं. Okay, so that means it will require central government's approval or president's approval in general, we can say, for enactment. Now, when this bill was passed by the state assembly, it was sent to assent of the governor, but governor did not give assent for a long period of time and kept the bill with him. Okay, so it was criticized. Why? Because the governor is having clear mandate under Article 200, that there are only 4 options he is having and he needs to exercise one of the option when the bill is coming to him. Okay, what are these 4 options? 1, he can give the assent to the bill. 2nd, he can withhold the assent to the bill. 3rd, he can send back that bill for the reconsideration of the House. And 4th one is that he can reserve the bill for the presidential consideration. Okay, now in the 3rd case, if the bill is sent back for the reconsideration, and if the state assembly passes that bill after reconsidering that with or without the amendments, then the governor is having compulsion to give the assent to the bill. Now, in the present case, the 3rd option needs to be exercised by the governor without delay, because the state assembly has passed the bill after reconsideration. तो ये सारा इशू आपको शुरुआत से पता होना चाहिए ऐसे क्या हो रहा है. Okay, now what exactly are options? Just now we have understood. Now there is some kind of wrong view that constitution has not fixed any timeline within which the governor is supposed to act. This is true. Article 200 does not provide any timeline in an explicit manner that the governor needs to act within that timeline. However, this is wrong view. Even if the timeline is not mentioned, but the 4 options are clearly mentioned, and it is the word that the governor shall exercise one of the option. Shall matlab unki duty hai. Okay, and at the same time we should analyze if the governor is not acting in the appropriate time or within the short time, we should understand the implications. First is that the state legislature is representatives of the people, not the governor. Okay, if the state assembly is let's say passing the bill, and if governor is not giving the assent, it is against democracy. It is against the will of the people. It is against the second thing. We should understand that some international examples. In UK, if suppose the monarch is not giving assent to the bill enacted by the legislature, then it is called as unconstitutional. That act is called as unconstitutional. That means there is compulsion on the, we can say, monarch to give the assent there, and he is also nominal head. Okay, monarch in UK is nominal head. If we talk about Australia, also a similar kind of provision is there. It is also monarchical democracy.
So that's why there is supremacy of parliament in UK.
Yes, we can say that. We can say that even in India, if we talk about the president as the nominal position, so he is having very less or absolutely no discretionary power, we can say. But comparatively, governor in India is enjoying more discretionary powers, we can say. You can give these examples. You can give this example. Then we can also say that when such kind of, let's say, tussle between the governor and state polity happens, then governance suffers. Why? Because decision making is delayed, right? Governance suffers. This is also very important aspect. Fourth thing one should understand, that accountability of governor, it is missing. Under Article 361, it is very much clear that the president and governor is not to be held accountable or answerable for their actions, officials in official capacity. When they are taking such kind of decisions, or even not taking decisions per se, simply we should understand there is no accountability of those governors, or even if suppose president is involved, so that authority.
And sir, position of the governor is for cooperative federalism, but their
Yes.
mode is conflictual federalism.
Yes, we can say that part. We should also understand the discretionary powers to the governor are largely in the executive matters, not in legislative matters. Okay, so one good statement we can use it as question itself, like giving assent to bill passed by the legislature is part of legislative process and not the executive power. Largely we can say in executive powers the governor enjoys certain discretionary powers. Okay, like some of the appointments are there, or suppose let's say particular report or decisions are to be consulted with the governor. Okay, governor can demand report from the chief minister. These are executive powers. Okay, but here in legislative matters there is no such discretion given or no such authority is given. So critically analyze with respect to recent developments in Tamil Nadu state polity. Okay, such kind of question can be asked here. Fine. Now moving on, the court's burden. Recently there was conference of chief justices and the chief ministers of states. In that conference, the issue of National Judicial Infrastructure Corporation, the proposal by Chief Justice of India, present Chief Justice of India, it did not find much favor from the chief ministers. Okay, and we should understand that chief ministers or states are concerned because it is going to be the central body, although there will be state level authorities under such organization, because it will be statutory body. But the states are concerned about their less representation in that body and less authority to take decision, and that's why they are not finding much favor, we can say, with respect to this body. But the special purpose vehicle vested with statutory powers to plan and implement infrastructure projects for judiciary. This is what this body is proposed like this. But it is not going to be implemented in near future because it is federal aspect. It will require the ratification of more than half states because it is related to integrated judiciary. Judiciary in India is integrated judiciary, and it is, we can say, part of federal aspect. Okay.
Sir, what actually infrastructure project for the judiciary is?
Yes, infrastructure is related to judicial infrastructure. See, at present, whatever the, let's say, be it Supreme Court, High Courts or subordinate courts, their infrastructure in a sense we can say case management or the physical infrastructure, whatever the support that is required to deliver the justice by these judges.
It means physical, HR,
Yes,
all that,
everything.
financial,
Yes,
all type of
जो जुडिशरी से रिलेटेड बाकी अपॉइंटमेंट्स होते हैं, ठीक है, बाकी अपॉइंटमेंट्स हो गए, बी इट अकाउंट्स रिलेटेड और अदर स्टाफ, सपोर्टिंग स्टाफ, एवरीथिंग, technical assistance. Nowadays cyber system, IT system is becoming important aspect. So for that purpose we are talking here, not related to judicial appointments.
Demanding administrative separate judicial different.
Yes, okay. So this body, now the state chief ministers have proposed that there will be state level bodies created in terms of strengthening judicial infrastructure. Okay, so there was agreement on the idea of state level bodies.
What's wrong in this, as center has more financial, HR, administrative power, state lacks, they are not as resourceful as center, so it's a good move. Why is state denied this?
Yes, states are denying because they are concerned about, you know, their representation in that body. See, whenever any body is created through central legislation, there will be some more authority given to the central government compared to state governments, and this concern is true. Simply we should understand high courts are largely independent of the central government. More and more cooperation happens between state governments and state high courts. Okay, only we should understand that Supreme Court is having some kind of coordination with High Court because it is integrated judiciary. Central government only supports to strengthen the high courts in terms of some kind of, let's say, financial assistance for infrastructure development. ठीक है, सिर्फ असिस्टेंस देता है, उसमें उनका कोई ज़्यादा रोल नहीं है सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट का. एंड इफ सच बॉडी इज क्रिएटेड, अगेन सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट्स रोल इंक्रीजेस. Okay, indirectly increases. Also you should understand at Supreme Court level there is less concern of infrastructure. Concern is more at high courts and subordinate judiciaries. So simply this will be we can say effective body at state level, and central government should assist, and even law minister of India has said that we will assist such bodies especially in terms of financial assistance. Okay, so this is we can say positive thing, but now in terms of analysis we should understand that CJI has expressed one view regarding increasing pendency of cases, increasing number of cases, and this litigation is happening due to, you know, inaction or action by state, okay, or simply governments. Okay, so the CJI is expressing view here that when the judicial bodies are ordering state governments or central government to do certain thing, they are not doing it deliberately, and because of that such kind of litigation is further increasing.
And I think sir, pendency is also increases because of poor infrastructure.
वो तो है ही, उसको डील करने के लिए हम ये प्रपोजल है.
Yes sir, that's why they want to
Yes.
do it.
Here recently CJ has given us a politically they are going to be delaying the some cases, they are not responding. Some bureaucrats.
That is also true to some extent, because they are responding as a party to the case, they are responding late. जैसे आज ही न्यूज़ में they are seeking more time in sedition case. ठीक है, there is one news, they are saying that on tomorrow the Supreme Court is going to hear the petitions sedition law से related, but the government is seeking more time regarding it. Maybe tomorrow government will come up with some amendment, we will ourselves will remove that or amend that provision. There will be some kind of, let's say, development. So this view, then you should also understand why this infrastructure has not improved. Okay, the state governments are having unspent finances on judicial infrastructure. Okay, even central government and state government are allocating sufficient resources, but they are not spent in a timely manner. They are lapsing every year, and this figure is huge, देखा जाए तो. And that's why they are demanding separate body with some kind of autonomy, independence.
So it's a poor governance from state side.
Yes, from state side we can say, because those finances are some kind of attached finances. कुछ conditions होगी, and that's why they are not fulfilling it. So unspent funds are very high in terms of infrastructure development. This is also a cause of concern. Okay, then pendency of cases is also linked to, we can say, vacancy. The number of vacancies in some of the high courts is more than 50%. Okay, and this is not good, because there is a high burden on the existing, let's say, judges, and because of that the judiciary is overburdened, we can say. So this vacancy needs to be filled up along with strengthening of infrastructure. सिर्फ एक ही साइड से काम करके नहीं चलेगा. ओके, सो द नंबर ऑफ जजेस, वहाँ पे वो जो है वैकेंसी फिल करनी चाहिए. फाइन. Okay, so these points you can mention there. Then India extends more aid to Sri Lanka. So $200 million short-term loan facility by Exim Bank of India is provided here for, to source more fuel from India. Up till now, this year, around $3 billion, let's say, credit or in general financial assistance is provided to cash-ridden Sri Lanka by the way of currency swaps, credit lines for essential, loan deferments. आपको किस किस चीज़ के लिए दिया हुआ है ये डिटेल्स यहाँ पे दिया हुआ है. Okay, for example, 400 million currency swap with RBI early this year. Then along with that, India has helped Sri Lanka defer repayment of loans totaling 1 billion under Asian Clearing House, Clearing Union. Then fuel has been also delivered through 500 million credit facility. This multi-pronged assistance provided by India testifies the importance of Sri Lanka in India's neighborhood policy and Sagar policy. ठीक है? The twin principles of neighborhood first and Sagar, security and growth for all in the region. Okay, yes. Now, Supreme Court not to decide on deferred political entry of officials. The petition regarding giving direction to the legislature to legislate on providing cooling off period to civil servants while entering into political sphere. So, the concern at present is the kind of conflict of interest. How this conflict of interest happens? Suppose a civil servant who is required to work with political neutrality, let's say has some kind of futuristic goals, aims in life in mind to enter into politics. So that person, that civil servant may knowingly or unknowingly favor any political party while in service. That is conflict of interest, okay, because that is not political neutrality. Okay, so this issue is of the concern at present, and the petitioner is providing some facts regarding this, but the judges are in this particular case are not satisfied with the facts or arguments provided by the petitioners. So that's why this petition is disposed with the view that Supreme Court is not the right authority. The court refused to intervene in the petition, saying it was for the appropriate authorities to decide whether there should be any rules, guidelines for bureaucrats contesting polls. Okay, some important values have been highlighted here. Highest ethical standards of integrity and honesty, political neutrality, fairness, impartiality in discharge of duties. In addition to that, courtesy, accountability and transparency. Then yes, these values have been highlighted. See, every year UPSC asks questions related to civil services values. So understand the meaning of different values, define definition of these different values. It is important for your mains examination. Okay, so this specific question can be asked on this conflict of interest related. Okay, so at present, All India Service Conduct Rules 1968 and All India Central Services Conduct Rules 1964. They deals with the conduct of civil servants. Okay, so
India Services Conduct Rule 2004 amended also.
the amendment also 2004.
14.
Okay, 2014. Yes. So yes, simply understand that these rules are not extensively dealing with this issue here. Okay, so
Right.
maybe in future there will be we can say amendment to this. ARC's second report also recommend that there should be cooling off period. Ethics in governance report, ARC second.
Right.
Fine. Okay. Now, India Denmark to strengthen green strategies partnership. Okay, so Denmark has certain edge in the capabilities, technology development related to renewable energy, and that is being harnessed here. India Denmark agreed to further strengthen green strategic partnership with focus on green hydrogen, renewable energy and wastewater management. Okay, green strategic partnership, GSP, use word as it is. Okay, a number of agreements covering sectors such as green shipping, animal husbandry and dairying, and then water management, energy, cultural exchange were inked as a bilateral ties, bilateral agreements. Okay, India, Denmark also confirmed their continued collaboration in the field of antimicrobial resistance, AMR. Okay, India conveyed its acceptance of Danish invitation to join International Center for Antimicrobial Resistance Solution, ICARS. Okay, International Center for Antimicrobial Resistance Solutions as a mission partner. So India has joined this, let's say, center as a mission partner. Okay, so AMR, health sector, science and technology,
Energy.
it is being considered as emerging pandemic. Okay, antimicrobial resistance. Fine. So from IR section, see, there will not be direct question on bilateral relation between India and Denmark. Rather, there will be question on India's relations with Europe.
Right.
And within that, you should know India, UK, India, France, India, Germany, India and Scandinavian countries. ये आपको specially details पता होने चाहिए. Also understand Denmark is one of the leading country having capabilities of wind energy.
Right.
NCERT में भी लिखा है ये, ज्योग्राफी के. ओके, फाइन. ओके, yes, April exports cross 38 billion, deficit widens. So some facts have follow up on this, the trend. Okay, so यहाँ पे ये फैक्ट्स जो दिए हुए हैं, थोड़ा सा ट्रेंड याद रखना है. फैक्ट्स नहीं याद रखेंगे तो भी ठीक है, बिकॉज मंथली फैक्ट्स आर नॉट दैट मच इम्पॉर्टेंट. क्वार्टरली एंड ईयरली फैक्ट्स आर इम्पॉर्टेंट. ओके, सो देर इज इंक्रीज ऑफ exports. At the same time, there is further higher rate of increase in the imports. यहाँ पे देख सकते हैं 26.6%, 9.5% से लोअर थे एक्सपोर्ट्स जो है, बट ये इसकी वजह से ट्रेड डिफिसिट जो है वो वाइडन हो चुका है. Here also most exported commodities last month petroleum products, engineered goods, gems and jewelries. Most imported coal and coke, petroleum and crude and electronic goods. Okay. Now this is important. World Press Freedom Index 2022. Okay, India's rank has fallen here to 150 from the last year 142nd. Okay, out of 180 countries. Yes, ranking of India's neighbors except Nepal have also fallen down. जैसे पाकिस्तान है, श्रीलंका है, बांग्लादेश है, म्यांमार है. ओके, बट नेपाल का 30 पोजीशन से अचानक से बढ़ गया है. Okay, so Nepal has climbed by 30 points in the global ranking at 76th position from 106th. Okay, this is the exception. Top 5 countries: Norway, Denmark, Sweden, Estonia, Finland. Okay, so Scandinavian countries, they are always, top in terms of human development index or such kind of democracy index. Happiness is also there to some extent. And this particular report or index every year, this is 20th such report index given by this non-profit, non-organizational body, Reporters Without Borders. It is headquartered in Paris, France. At the same time, we should understand that it does not talk about the protection to the or the rights of the media personnel. Rather, it in general talks about press freedom. Okay, the curbs on the press freedom in any country. So, right to freedom of information, this is being safeguarded. Okay, so since 2002, it is coming out with this index. And this year, it was 20th such index. Today, we are also, we can say, celebrating this World Press Freedom Day. अच्छा, कल ही था क्या? हाँ, कल ही था. Yes, yesterday itself. Okay, fine. एक कुछ अच्छा statement है. The freedom of the press is integral to the functioning of vibrant democracy. Such kind of statements you can use in your answer. Okay, the freedom of press is integral to functioning of a vibrant democracy.
It is mentioned in report.
No. One of the statement given by Reporters Body, Press Council of India and its members, they are talking about this.
Mostly Europe countries are getting first ranks below 10 they are getting, so because of the due to reason less diversity, low population, that is the main reason.
No. This is not the reason. Never write such reason even if it is asked.
Because of they have the very less problematic countries and there is no any political conflicts compared to India, sir.
They have evolved their polity in that manner. See, there will be of course opposition if it is democracy, if it is let's say parliamentary body, there will be opposition, no? So it is not like if everyone is having one single political party, there is no opposition, there is no conflict. Rather, that opposition is also working in agreement that whatever the government is coming with the policies, they will be allowed to implement. Okay, वो जो governance process जिसको बोलते हैं, वो smooth होता है. There are very less obstacles. Yes, we can say that sheer size of the country like India in terms of population, that also presents some obstacles, but that is not the only reason. Okay, यहाँ पे जो press freedom की बात हो रही है, any country which is it calls as a democratic country and democratic values they are promoting, that in that country freedom of press is the most important. Even before the independence, it was highlighted by the leaders of freedom struggle. Okay, हमने सबसे पहले कौन से right को demand किया? सबसे पहले freedom of press को, because this is the most important right in the democracy.
It's the fourth pillar of democracy.
Fourth pillar of democracy we call it. Okay, so this empowers people all together. तो इसके लिए बोलते हैं, and in India there are some restrictions, no? There are some restrictions, there are reasonable restrictions in the constitution itself. Okay, and many times they are misused also. They are misused also. Yes, so because of that also, but Indian government does not accept these reports. Okay, India being the largest democracy in the world, and the democratic values which are promoted by India on international platforms, they are not in line with this rank. ठीक है, तो फिर India will say that its methodology is different, the kind of information collection, ये सारी चीज़ें जो है वो बोलते रहते हैं.
So last month one article also came saying that India has the good democratic values, but rank is getting very low level.
Yes, we can say that, but there are some issues related to press freedom. Okay, but that is separate issue. We will discuss it somewhere, sometime later. शायद उस पे editorial भी आ सकता है कल परसों. Yes. In polity, such kind of questions are being asked. It require more clarity of knowledge. जैसे अंसारी सर बोलते हैं क्लास में, clarity of knowledge is very important nowadays for prelims, right? So we have to find the correct statement, and even if the bill after, let's say after consideration, reconsideration is passed by the state legislature with or without amendments, the governor is not bound to give his assent. This is incorrect, right? He is bound to give his assent now. Okay, the same is provision with the president, no? President can also send back the bill for reconsideration, but after that he has to give the assent. Okay, Constitution does not lay down any time frame for the governor to take action on the bill passed. This is correct. Okay, there is no explicit time period given or mentioned in the Constitution regarding that. So 2 only is the correct answer.
Even only governor and president have the only one time to resend back. Second time they have no option.
Yes, yes. For second time it is not there. Even for governor also. Okay.